Every morning, I used to order coffee and drink it in bed, but I had to stop doing this because delivery fees have gotten so expensive that my $5 coffee now costs $20 just because I want to have it delivered to me. So this got me thinking,
what if there was a way to get my morning coffee without having to leave my bed at all? So here's my idea.
What if I take an ordinary bed, put wheels and a motor on it, and actually drive myself to get my coffee?
This way I don't have to spend any money in fees and I can still enjoy my morning coffee in bed. How hard could it be? Right? Now my current bed is way too heavy, so it's gonna be really hard to make it move. So I think we're gonna need a smaller bed.
So I went on Amazon and bought the smallest bed frame I could find, and later that day, it arrived. Let's build a bed frame. Now my goal is to finish this by tomorrow morning, which gives me just roughly around 24 hours to turn my bed into a car and take it to get my coffee tomorrow morning when Starbucks opens.
At least something finally came with instructions. We don't need instructions.
Well, we actually did need them because we had no idea what we were doing. But with the instructions fixed and the bed frame built a few minutes later, it was time to pick up the rest of the supplies.
Guess where we go to get those parts?
Home Depot.
No.
What?
No, I'm just kidding. Yeah, that's where we're going.
Oh, shook.
So we went to Home Depot to get all the stuff we needed for the bed, and here is the plan. I want to get a piece of plywood that I can attach to the bottom of the bed frame. Then I can add wheels to each corner to make it move. So we picked up the plywood, some wheels, and everything else we needed to make the plan work. And after buying everything, we headed back home to start creating the bed. The first thing we did was measure the bed frame so we could cut the plywood to make it fit exactly to our bed frame.
So to secure this bed frame to the board, picked up these little hinges, and the idea is they go on just like this to hold the bed frame in place.
And after 20 minutes of drilling,
Yeah, dude, that thing is solid. The wood is attached to the frame. Time to add the wheels.
and after around 15 minutes of drilling the wheels to the bed, it was finally time to test it out.
So our bed can move forward and backwards, which is a great start. But going back and forth is not drive. So now we gotta find a way to make this drive. So the best way I can think to do that is using an electric skateboard. So once I attach this electric skateboard to the bottom of the bed, I can make the bed go forward, stop, whenever I want.
So we set up the bed frame on top of the electric skateboard, and we realized a massive problem.
The wheels don't touch the ground. So we're gonna have to buy bigger wheels so that they match the same height as the electric skateboard. You know what that means?
I'm just gonna get in the car.
So we went for another trip to Home Depot.
Never just one trip, huh?
Never.
We then picked up the biggest wheels we could find and went back home and replaced the small wheels with the bigger ones.
All right, we got the new wheels on. Now it's time to add the skateboard.
And after 10 minutes attaching the skateboard to the bed, it was time to test it out to see if this even works.
Oh my God. Bro, I'm so nervous. Yo! Bro, this is so sick! Wanna try it?
Yes.
There you go.
Be careful.
Nick! Okay. Dude, that's insane.
Ow! Alright, besides this thing being extremely uncomfortable, it freaking works. Here's the only problem. The only way to steer it right now is kind of by shimmying your butt left and right, which really isn't logical. So I need to find a way to steer this thing. And I think I got the perfect idea. A scooter. Let me explain. So my idea is to take the scooter, attach it to the bed frame. This way I can turn whatever direction I like. Theoretically.
So to make this work, we have to drill a hole in the plywood for the scooter handle to fit through so we can use it as a steering wheel. The only problem is,
You ever used one of those?
no, we hadn't. We literally spent 1 hour failing trying to cut this
I
hole.
don't know how to like.
Do it.
I'm gonna try a new technique.
So I spent the next 20 minutes drilling holes in the plywood, and it actually worked.
Boom.
That's one way to do it.
Yeah. Now let's see if it fits.
Can I say it?
Go on.
That's what she said.
And the good news was, it did fit, but that created a whole new problem.
Do you know what that's caught on?
The boosted board.
Oh. So we're gonna have to move the board back.
But thankfully, running into this problem saved us from a future problem.
That's forward. We put it in the back.
So we flipped the boosted board and moved it into the right place, and now with the scooter fitting perfectly, we drilled it to the bed, and it was time to see if this bed would actually steer.
Doesn't work. Still not touching the ground enough.
So we drilled this little wood block to the plywood so the scooter wheel could touch the ground, and after a few minutes, So this thing's finally starting to turn, but because of the wheel on the scooter, it's lifting these wheels up here. So we're gonna add a spacer right here to make these wheels touch the ground. This thing's finally coming together. So we spent the next 20 minutes adding the spacers to the front of the wheels, and after all the previous failed attempts, this had to work. And thankfully it did. I could actually steer this bed.
No way.
Bro, we just made a freaking car bed. Dude, this is actually crazy.
And with the car bed actually working, it was time to turn this bed frame into an actual bed. So I went online and bought a comforter, pillows, and of course a mattress to actually turn this into a bed. And until everything arrives, we started cutting the wood to create the headboard.
How many likes for you to hang this one up in your room? 20,000 likes, I'll hang it in my room. Anything less, you hang it in yours.
Challenge accepted. Please, for the love of God, hit that like button.
Now it's time to paint the headboard. And after 30 minutes of painting, we finished drilling the headboard to the bed frame just in time because
The mattress arrived.
and after 3 minutes of struggling to unroll this mattress,
There we go. Now we got our mattress.
but as soon as we put the mattress on the bed, we realized we had a huge problem.
Why is that so small?
No way. I literally thought this was about to be the easiest part of the video. I was not expecting the mattress not to fit the frame. There's like a whole gap here.
At least we don't have to go back to Home Depot for this one.
Home Depot starts selling mattresses.
And since I don't have enough time to order a new mattress to arrive by tomorrow morning, I had to come up with a new plan. All right, so in our spare bedroom, we actually have a twin bed in here. The only problem is, it's not mine. It's one of our roommates.
I won't tell anyone if you won't tell anyone.
Deal.
Corinne!
Yo!
You're stealing your mattress!
And after Nick getting the okay from our roommate, we moved the mattress to the bed frame and it actually fit perfectly.
Now we're talking, dude.
Now the only thing we gotta do is cut a hole in this mattress so that the scooter can poke through it. And after cutting a hole in the mattress, this crazy idea was getting closer and closer to actually working. To finalize this car bed, we added the bed sheets.
That looks wild.
And we even added this bed liner and pillows to make it look like a legit bed. And just like that,
Dude, isn't this wild? Yo, what is this?
my new bed car was finally complete. This thing looks insane. I'm not gonna lie, this might be one of my favorite things I've ever built. The whole thing is put together, and the last thing to do is to test this out, which I'm gonna do bright and early tomorrow morning when Starbucks opens to finally get my morning coffee without leaving my bed. This is nuts, man. And with nighttime finally here, I was just one sleep away from achieving my ultimate goal.
Blanket.
Thank you. What are you doing?
I thought we were getting coffee in the morning.
Nick, get out of my bed.
I will see you guys in the morning. Nick, you still can't sleep here. So after a good night's rest, it was finally time to see if I can drive my bed to Starbucks to get my morning coffee. I was literally in my bed driving to Starbucks. But as cool as this was, it had never been on the actual road. So if there was any bumps or rocks in my way, this bed could easily break down and everything I had worked for the last 24 hours could have been for nothing.
Like we're drifting.
Now, as I drive my bed into the Starbucks drive-thru line, it would mean a lot if you guys would subscribe. I've built so many things over the years, and it's so cool to see all of your guys' support on everything I've done. But enough sentimental stuff. Once I pulled my bed into the drive-thru line, it started getting everyone's attention. People were literally stopping what they were doing just to take pictures of this bed. But now it was time for the most important part of this video. I was here at Starbucks for one reason and one reason only.
Can I get a venti black cold brew? Thank you.
And just like that, I did it. There is no better feeling in the world than literally driving your bed to get your coffee.
No, this is good. Thank you. Have a great day.
I couldn't believe how amazing this thing turned out. Well, I officially did it. I can finally enjoy my morning coffee in my bed without thinking about any of those terrible delivery fees.
Have you ever been driving and had to go to the bathroom so bad and this happens?
How far is the nearest bathroom?
50 miles.
Yeah.
This happens a lot. So this got me thinking, what if there was a way to bring a toilet with me whenever I drive? Now, I recently turned my bed into a race car, so if I can do that...
Then who's to say I can't also turn my toilet into a car?
Drew? I don't really think it's possible to turn a toilet into a car.
Here's my plan.
What if I take apart the race car bed, add a piece of plywood to the top of the frame, add bathroom tile, and a toilet to make the world's first toilet car? So the first step is to take the bed car apart.
Kills me to take this thing apart.
I know. Can I take a nap first?
No.
So we started taking apart the bed car.
Bro, you know how many comments I got about this looking like the bed from like a murder?
Throw it right in that dumpster.
And after around 15 minutes, our new car frame was ready.
The next thing we gotta do is add a platform for the top of this.
And of course, to create that, we went to Home Depot to pick up everything we needed.
I've never been toilet shopping before. Dude, it's like a sea of toilets. That's crazy.
Could I go test one out?
Normally I would say do it, but we have a residency here, so.
That's true, and there's an employee right there.
So we picked up all the supplies we would need.
You're welcome.
And right after getting back home, the first thing we did was measure the old car frame. This way we could cut a brand new board with the exact dimensions. But before placing it on the bed, there was still one important thing left to do.
So in order to even lay the board on top of this, we have to cut a hole out
That perfectly fits this.
so that I can still steer this thing.
And after pretty much guessing on all of the measurements,
X marks the spot. Feeling confident?
Not at all, but let's do it anyways.
Let's do it.
Wow. That was so satisfying.
Now let's see if this hole fits over that.
and thankfully it fit perfectly.
Yo, dude, let's go.
And with the board placed perfectly, the next step was to drill it into the frame. Now, the only way to do that
It's with these little hinges. So here's my, ow, I just hit my elbow so hard. So here's what I plan to do. Since we can't actually drill into this metal frame, the idea is to take this hinge, put it on like this, and drill it into either side to keep this thing onto the frame.
So with my solid plan, and Nick being a negative Nancy,
No, there's no way that's gonna work.
I was determined to prove him wrong.
If you get that screw, how are you gonna get the other screw then? The drill cannot fit in there.
And although this didn't go to plan, there's one place I know we can always count on.
Back at Home Depot.
I think you just like going to Home Depot.
These are the new pieces, and this way we only have to screw in one side. Let's hope this works.
So we spent the next 10 minutes drilling the board to the frame, and thankfully, it actually worked.
That's actually solid. All right, might as well give it a little test drive. Solid job with this.
So,
All right, you know what's next? The toilet.
well, that was the instructions. We kept it still usable.
Oh, actually, this thing you could. All right, no instructions.
Like, how much instructions do we really need to build a toilet? Oh.
Why are there multiple boxes with a toilet?
Oh.
You have to build a toilet?
Bro.
There's more boxes.
How many different pieces are there?
What? That is not a toilet. Oh, are you serious? That's funny. I was actually shook.
So we spent the next 15 minutes figuring out how to set up the toilet, but there was one thing missing.
Where's the seat?
Did it just not have a toilet seat? Toilet seats sold separately. What? Alright, I'm calling my dad because there's no way they sell toilet seats separate. Hey,
Hey, what's going on?
are toilets supposed to come with toilet seats?
No, no toilets come with toilet seats. Everybody knows that. What are you talking about?
Where do you get a toilet seat?
Nick's favorite place, Home Depot.
Depot?
Home Depot. Take care, I love you.
See ya.
All right, so later I'm gonna need to pick up a toilet seat for this, but for now, let's see how the toilet fits on the platform out there.
And with our minds still blown that toilets don't come with actual toilet seats, we moved the toilet to the frame so we could drill it in place.
Hold these. All right, let me get the drill.
I know you did not just do that.
I didn't realize it was still on. I was just like messing with this.
And once the toilet smashed to pieces, everyone from the house came outside to see what the noise was.
Now that I look back, I probably could have caught.
You could have walked over and
I froze. All right, guys, here's the real question. That broken toilet over there, you guys want to help me clean that up? Guess I'm cleaning it up by myself.
So we cleaned up all the toilet pieces from our driveway.
I was expecting like a big crashing noise.
So we went back to Home Depot again.
Back here again. Again.
Again. Where'd you get that?
The Don't ask any questions, Drew.
Alright, still no instructions.
But since we just built a toilet literally a couple hours ago,
Break it.
we didn't need any instructions. And just a few minutes later,
That's crazy. Also, while we were at Home Depot, picked up a toilet seat.
and after setting up the toilet seat,
We got a toilet. Now, and I think it'd be cool if we made this look like a portable bathroom. So before we fasten this thing to here, we're gonna add some fake flooring to it, make it look like a real bathroom floor. This is gonna look so crazy going down the street.
so we removed the toilet, added the fake flooring, and after around 20 minutes of drilling,
That looks so cool. Literally looks like just part of a bathroom.
All right, we got our floor. It's time to add the toilet. That is freaking crazy, bro. Now, normally with toilets, you put a bolt right here and you twist it on, and that's how it locks into place. But because we're stupid and forgot to do that before we put all of this stuff on here, here's my idea. Take a washer, screw just like that, place it right in here, drill it in, and hope to God it holds this toilet in place.
Yeah, you're screwing this in, so if it breaks, that's your fault, man.
and with the risk of breaking another toilet, I drilled some screws through the toilet onto the wooden board, and just like that,
That's going nowhere. All right. The one thing we had growing up in front of our toilet was a rug. So, we're gonna add a rug. Wow, bro. That's so funny.
I'm pretty sure me and you could build a house at this point.
and although this thing looked awesome, there were still 2 bathroom essentials missing.
Toilet paper holder and a plunger. I guess I never thought of this, but what side do you grab toilet paper from? The right, right?
The left.
No, the right.
It's always the left.
I'm so curious, guys. Comment down below. If you're grabbing toilet paper, do you grab it to the left or do you grab it to the right? You got me like second guessing my whole life. Bro, imagine this is what we used to drive it. So it was like, oh, that would have been so cool if we could have like done that. And it was driving with a plunger.
Wait.
So we pushed the bottom of the plunger to the base of the steering wheel and then drilled the scooter to the wooden part of the plunger. This way I could steer the whole toilet car. And just like that,
it worked.
and for one last final touch, we drilled a toilet paper holder to the base, filled it up with toilet paper rolls, and just like that,
That is amazing.
How crazy is that?
so after hours of work, it was finally time to see if this toilet car even works.
So many things could go wrong. Steering wheel could not work. Toilet could fall off.
But there's only one way to find out, and that is to take the world's first toilet car to the streets. So as I attempt to drive this toilet car onto the streets, it'd mean a lot if you would subscribe. I've literally put 2 toilets on the line for this video. So if you haven't, hit that subscribe button. This thing turned out amazing. I was literally driving a toilet on the road and steering it with an actual plunger. But now it's time to see if I can actually use the restroom while being on the road. And since I couldn't do this in the open because I would probably get arrested, I decided to add a portable changing room so that way I could use the restroom on the road without anyone seeing me. Last night I had this crazy dream that I was driving my bed on the water surrounded by sharks. And when I frantically woke up, I thought, can I actually drive my bed on the water like a boat? So to answer this weird question, I'm going to attempt to turn my bed into a boat and drive it on the water just like last night's dream, minus the sharks. So I sketched up a few ideas and here's my plan. I want to build the bottom of the boat, put a bed on top, and then attach an engine to make it drive. Sounds pretty simple. Only problem is, I don't know how to build a boat. So I did some research and I came across these videos of people making boats out of PVC pipe. So it looks like these PVC pipes are strong enough to hold a person. But the real question is, are they strong enough to hold a person and a bed? I guess we'll find out.
But in order to find out, I first needed a huge trailer. So,
This is Eddie. He was nice enough to lend us his truck and trailer today. So we went to the store to get some PVC pipes, and then we saw this green one that looked literally perfect for what we wanted to do. That was until the store owner came outside to help us and immediately destroyed our plans.
The big green one is about $700.
600.
$700? Yeah, the green ones we were never gonna go with. That's crazy.
So we needed a new plan.
I'm just gonna build this on a piece of wood and you're gonna get under it and just swim.
I raised $700.
So we started looking for something that was way cheaper. But with this change of plans, there's a high possibility that this boat could sink right away.
What do you think?
Well, I think if anything, you know how to swim, so if you sink, you're...
Thanks, man.
And since we had to buy smaller pipes than we planned on, we needed to get a lot more of them, which led me to another huge problem.
I don't even want to know how much this is gonna cost. We haven't even bought like a bed or anything else yet, so please send this to a million people you know so this gets views.
What's your estimate?
$800. I'm on like $1,400.
Yeah.
So grand total for that, $1,369.31.
Holy cow, you were right. You get to pay. This thing better float.
So we loaded up all the PVC pipes into Eddie's truck and took everything back home so we could start working on the frame of the boat.
Now we're gonna cut them to make them all the same length.
And after cutting everything to the same length,
The next thing we're gonna do is add these caps to the end of the pipes. That way no water can get inside, allowing these pipes to float. That sounds like a really cool drum. To make them actually sealed so no water gets in, you use this little glue here. It looks like a forbidden lollipop.
and after an hour of working on these pipes and almost breaking my face, it was time to move on to the next step of the plan.
All right, so I've glued and capped the end of all of these pipes, and while this glue dries, we're gonna cut these other smaller pieces to make a little end piece to help make the boat not tip over.
But as it turns out, it is very hard to cut PVC pipe perfectly
Buddy,
straight.
what are you making right now?
A slinky?
So we spent the next 20 minutes doing our best, which was...
We really should not be cutting these ourselves.
But after a few more minutes of cutting,
Bro, look how bad we messed up some of these.
Whichever one's the straightest, I cut that one.
Yeah.
So now for the other end of the boat, I got these little 45-degree pieces here. We'll add these on like this, and then we'll take our super straight pieces that we just cut, add them on here, put our cap. This way, hopefully when I'm riding this thing on the water, all the water will go underneath the boat and not get on top of the PVC pipe, because if it does, it'll literally sink the boat.
I want that to happen.
Why?
Because I'll be on dry land watching you sink.
Thank you, man. All right, let's make the rest of these.
so we spent the next hour gluing and adding all the caps to the end of the pipes. And just like that,
This actually looks pretty good so far, I'm not gonna lie. Now we just gotta hope that it doesn't sink. What do you think, Billy?
Are you joining the Blue Man Group?
I'm trying to build a boat.
Oh!
What are the odds with your engineering background that you think this floats?
They'll individually float. They might separate from each other unless you secure them all together.
I will make sure to secure these together.
and in order to secure all them together, we have to build a platform. And in order to do that,
We need to go to one of our favorite places in the entire world. I have missed this place.
so we picked up all the equipment we would need, and in an hour, we were already back home working on the platform where we secured all the pipes together.
Now it's time to put this thing in the water and see if it even
If it
floats.
floats, it was my idea. If it doesn't, why'd you let us do this, man?
But just as we were ready to test out if this boat floats,
All right, well, we tried to lift it up, and the second we lifted it up, all of the pipes underneath smushed into each other. So now we're gonna get a couple more ratchet straps and try to make it 10 times tighter. That way that doesn't happen again.
and after tying everything together, we are ready for attempt number 2.
All right, it literally happened again. So now we're gonna try to put a ratchet strap around the actual pipes instead of the wood in the pipe.
And after tying everything together again, thankfully we are able to pick up the boat and place it in the pool.
Yo! Now it's time to see if this thing will hold my weight.
Let's see it. Wow.
Oh my God. I mean, bro, this holds my weight. Now the big question is, do you think this is gonna hold a bed?
And in order to find out, we needed a bed.
We need something that looks like the most like your stereotypical bed. And then imagine it cruising on the water.
And after a couple minutes of searching,
I think this is the bed we're gonna get because it looks the most like a bed. And it'll look really funny if we can make this thing float.
How does this look more like a bed than the other beds?
Just go with it.
Okay.
Just go with it. We'll say that one looks better than the other bed.
Okay.
It was also cheap.
and after making sure this bed could fit on the platform, we decided to get it. Or we thought so.
So right as we said we wanted that bed, he was like, all right, we're sold out of that bed, but we can get it shipped and delivered to you today. So we bought it. It should be at the house later tonight.
All right, the bed just arrived. Now it's time to build it.
So we started unboxing the bed and immediately realized that this was going to be way harder than we thought.
Dude, this thing came in like a million pieces.
And not only that,
I don't think this came with instructions.
Perfect. If it did, I would have shredded them.
Bro, finally found the instructions.
Thank you.
Wait, Nick, we actually need these. Nick!
And even though I couldn't save the instructions from Nick, after an hour of building, we were able to put the bed together.
I think this is one of those mattresses that just expands.
Bro, if your mom saw this, the mattress on the floor, she would kill you.
Instantly in trouble. Dude, I already dirtied it. Look. Maybe my mom won't watch this video. I just hit my hand so hard. It's like something you see in a hotel.
Beautiful. How's it feel?
Feels good.
So your shoes on the mattress? What's wrong with you?
Really hope my parents don't watch this one. Dude. Should we make the rest of the bed?
Let's do it. Bro, this is my least favorite chore ever, is putting sheets on a bed.
I hate this part. Comment down below if you hate putting the sheets on the bed.
I'm gonna comment down below.
Yeah, this is terrible. Especially if this just sinks the second I put this thing in the water.
But there's only one way to find out if this will sink. And just like that,
I mean, it does float.
but the real question is,
Yo.
will it still float when I get on it? And to my surprise,
That was nothing.
Send me off.
Alright, I'll send you. Ready?
3. Dude, you're crazy.
Alright, 3, 2, 1.
Oh, dude, no way. Bro, this is kind of sick. And it doesn't really like want to tip. No way. How do I get off this?
Yeah, that's on you, bro. Good night.
Wait, Nick. Actually, how do I get off this? All right, well, the bed was a success. Now, we need to make this thing drive on the water. So I found this motor on Craigslist. Now, I should be able to attach it to the back of the bed and then drive it around. So sick. Where's the propeller? All right, we got a motor. All right, so it is the next morning. We're gonna add a few extra touches to this thing, and then we're gonna go test it out on the water.
so we added a carpet on the platform to make the boat really feel like an actual bedroom. And after 20 minutes,
Platform's all ready to go.
bed's ready to go.
Time to load this thing up on the trailer.
And after 30 minutes of carefully placing everything on the trailer, we got the boat, the bed, the jet, and the mattress.
All we gotta do now, see if this thing sinks or floats.
So we started driving around to find the perfect spot to test this bed boat.
How's this boat compared to the one that we just made, Nick?
This probably hasn't fallen apart 10 times like ours.
That's so true.
And after a couple of hours,
Found this like little lagoon. Hopefully I can just ride it right around there. What do you think, man? Think we do it? Oh my God, this is so crazy.
after all of our hard work, it was time to make this bed boat dream real. Or so we thought.
Are you okay back there?
Yeah, I think the pipes all moved.
Yeah, they did. Okay, we can push them back. That's not a big deal.
This may not work.
It's gonna work. Don't worry about it. We'll get them back. It's fine.
So we fixed up the PVC pipe so that we could at least pick up the boat to move it towards the lagoon. And that leads us to attempt number 2.
1, 2. Oh, nope. Now they went.
And just like that, the boat was destroyed.
We're gonna have to take this back and fix it up.
And with our spirits broken, we took the boat back home to start working on a new idea from scratch.
All right, so the biggest problem we were having with this, whenever we tried to lift this up, all of the PVC pipes would implode on themselves. So our new idea is to tape these in sets of 2 and then all of them together. This way none of them can slip out of place. And most importantly, hopefully this thing works.
So we spent the next hour taping up the PVC pipe in pairs to hopefully fix this problem. And once the PVC pipes were taped, we added back on the wood, the carpet, and the bed. And with not enough daylight remaining in the day, we decided to do one more test in the pool before taking it back on the road again the next day. And thankfully, it worked. So we loaded up everything for hopefully the last time. This was either going to work or fail, and we would have to scrap this entire idea.
I just hope to God it works. Oh, this is so much better.
Perfect, bro.
So we carefully placed the bed boat next to the water, and finally it was time for the moment of truth. Will this bed boat actually work?
We're going. Okay. Backing it up. Bro, this is wild right now.
It's crazy to think that this all started as a weird dream I had, and now days later, I'm literally driving my bed on the water like a boat. Without sharks, thankfully.
Bro, it works. What the heck? I literally can't believe I'm driving my bed on the water right now.
This goes to show that you really should never give up on your dreams, even if they're weird ones like this.
Let's go.
But anyways,
Try to hit some donuts. Oh. Bro, we're doing donuts. This is crazy. Just doing donuts in my bed. I can't believe after so many failed attempts that we finally pulled it off, and I'm literally driving my bed on the water like a freaking boat. I can't believe this worked.
So if you enjoyed this video, click here and watch another. And while you do that, I'm gonna ride my boat bed on the water. Bye now. Have a great day.